You are here because you worked hard. You reached goals others admire. You earned the job, the title, or the income that once felt impossible. And yet, when the lights go out, your mind is restless. Success feels heavy instead of light. Tonight, we will ask why this happens and what you can do about it. In this video, you will learn why money and success do not always bring happiness. You will hear how stress, comparison, and exhaustion can make success feel empty. You will also learn what research shows about money and happiness, what habits keep you stuck, and what changes bring peace. By the end, you will have a calm, clear picture of how to hold success without losing yourself. We will move gently through 15 chapters. The first chapters will explore the fog you may feel even when life looks good on the outside. The middle chapters will show you the wake-up moments when people realize they are not broken, but trapped in old money beliefs. The final chapters will bring you to a new place where success feels safer and happiness feels real. You will learn how childhood lessons about money follow you into adulthood. You will see how burnout, comparison, and lifestyle inflation quietly erode joy. You will understand how the hedonic treadmill keeps you chasing without resting. You will then be guided to softer truths about balance, gratitude, forgiveness, and redefining wealth. Each part of this journey is designed to calm your mind while teaching you something new. The reason you should stay with this story until the end is simple. The answers are not in the first few minutes. The early parts name the pain, but the later parts hold the peace. If you stop too soon, you miss the healing part of the journey. By staying, you give yourself the full picture, the cause of the struggle, and the gentle path out. Many people believe success should fix every problem. When it does not, they feel guilty. They think they are ungrateful. They think something is wrong with them. But the truth is clear. High rates of depression and burnout are common among people who achieve more. Nearly half of millennials report symptoms of depression or anxiety. Over 80% report burnout. These are not rare stories. They are daily realities for millions. Research also shows that financial stress does not end once your income rises. Studies found that 77% of people lose sleep because of money worries. This includes people with high incomes. Money alone cannot quiet the nervous system. Stress finds its way into the night. That is why you may lie awake after success, wondering why you still feel restless. We will also look at what psychologists call hedonic adaptation. This is the cycle where each new achievement or purchase feels good for a short while, then quickly fades. You return to the same baseline mood, waiting for the next high. This explains why raises, promotions, or new homes often leave people feeling flat again within months. It is not failure on your part, it is human wiring. But knowing this helps you step off the treadmill. Through these chapters, we will explore how the culture around you pushes the wrong definition of wealth. Social media highlights luxury, travel, and endless upgrades. It convinces you that more is always better. Yet research shows that after your basic needs and some comfort are met, more money brings smaller and smaller increases in happiness. What matters most is relationships, purpose, health, and a sense of enough. You will also hear about common traps that keep high achievers from peace. Lifestyle inflation makes expenses rise with income until you feel no freer than before. Comparison culture tricks you into chasing someone else's life instead of living your own. Time poverty makes you so busy that even good things feel empty. Financial shame from the past lingers, whispering that you will never measure up. Each of these will be unpacked in detail. Staying through the full story matters because the final chapters give solutions. You will learn how to practice small rituals that create a sense of safety with money. You will learn how to set boundaries that protect your rest and relationships. You will hear how forgiveness of past mistakes can free you from shame, and you will be shown how to define success on your own terms instead of letting society dictate it. This is not a lecture, it is a bedtime journey. Each chapter is told in a slow, soft rhythm to help your body relax. As you listen, you will be gently taught while also being soothed. The aim is for you to fall asleep wiser than when you pressed play. You will rest with calmer thoughts, knowing that what you feel has an explanation and that new choices are possible. If you stay until the end, you will leave with 3 quiet gifts. First, you will understand why the old map of success fails to bring happiness. Second, you will learn the gentle practices that heal financial anxiety. Third, you will walk away with a new story, one where wealth means safety, choice, and peace instead of pressure and fear. These gifts cannot be rushed. They unfold gradually, each chapter adding a piece until the picture is whole. This video is also about self-compassion. Many of us blame ourselves for not feeling happy enough. We think, I have no right to be unhappy when I have achieved so much. But emotions do not follow logic. They follow old stories, wounds, and habits. This journey will remind you that nothing is wrong with you. You are not broken. You are human. You deserve rest, and you deserve understanding. Each chapter will close with a gentle pause. You may find your body relaxing as the story moves forward. That is part of the design. Learning while resting is not only possible but natural. When your guard is down, your mind is open. That is why financial lessons told at bedtime reach deeper than any classroom lecture. As we begin, think about what brought you here tonight. Maybe it is the stress of debt, even while earning well. Maybe it is the constant pressure of bills and goals. Maybe it is the hidden thought that no matter how hard you work, it never feels like enough. Whatever your reason, this story is for you. We will walk through memories of childhood, when money first felt confusing or scary. We will follow moments of burnout, when work seemed endless. We will listen to stories of comparison, when someone else's success made your own feel small. And we will arrive at softer places, where you redefine success and rest in gratitude. By the end, you will see that wealth is not only numbers, wealth is peace of mind. Wealth is enough sleep. Wealth is freedom to choose your own pace. Wealth is being kind to yourself even when you make mistakes. This is what the full journey offers, and why staying matters. So tonight, as you settle into bed, know that you will hear truths that explain your hidden struggles. You will hear steps that bring you closer to calm, and you will hear reminders that you are worthy of both success and rest. And now, with your body relaxed and your mind prepared, we begin the first chapter. It starts with a sleepless night, a quiet apartment, and worries that refuse to fade. What do those worries reveal about success and happiness? That is where our story begins. The city outside is quiet. The streets are nearly empty. The sounds of the day have faded. Inside a tall apartment, a young professional lies awake, staring at the ceiling. She has a good job, a steady paycheck, and an apartment she once dreamed of. Yet tonight, like many nights, her mind will not rest. She turns over in bed, trying to get comfortable. She checks the clock, then sighs. Another hour has passed, and sleep still feels far away. She thinks about tomorrow's tasks, the meetings, the calls, the projects. She thinks about bills, rent, and credit card balances. Each thought piles on top of the last until her chest feels heavy. From the outside, her life looks stable. She has achieved what many people hope for at her age. But in these quiet hours, success feels less like a gift and more like a weight. She wonders why she feels anxious when she should feel proud. She wonders why she cannot shake the constant fear of falling behind. This is the hidden side of achievement. Many people who appear successful struggle when the lights are off. Their minds run through endless what-ifs. What if the next paycheck is not enough? What if they cannot keep up? What if they make a mistake that costs them everything? The body stays tense, even in the safety of a warm bed. Sleep researchers have found that money stress is one of the most common reasons people stay awake at night. Surveys show that more than 3 out of 4 adults lose sleep, at least sometimes, over financial worries. It does not matter how much money they make. Stress and fear can outpace the numbers. She remembers being younger, watching her parents argue quietly at the kitchen table about bills. She remembers the look of worry on their faces, the way her mother avoided answering questions about money. Those memories stay in her body. Even now, with a stable job, the old fear repeats itself. The mind whispers it could all disappear. Many of us carry these early memories. Even when our circumstances change, the feelings remain. Childhood lessons about scarcity become adult habits of worry. We think earning more will erase the fear, but it does not. The fear adapts. It takes new form. Even with higher income, it shifts to new worries: mortgage payments, retirement savings, rising costs. This is why she lies awake. She has done everything she was told to do. She studied hard, built her career, saved some money, and paid her bills. Yet the feeling of not enough has followed her into adulthood. It hides in the quiet hours, when the mind should rest. Research into mental health shows how common this is. Studies report that nearly half of millennials say they feel symptoms of depression or anxiety. Around 84% say they have experienced burnout. Even people with steady careers and solid incomes feel exhausted, drained, and unable to rest. Success has not protected them from stress. The pressure to always achieve more adds to this problem. Each promotion or raise is celebrated for a day, then replaced with new expectations. It feels like climbing a staircase where the top step keeps moving further away. No matter how much she climbs, the end never arrives. Her body stays in a state of tension, waiting for rest that never comes. As she turns again in bed, she wonders if something is wrong with her. Why does she feel unhappy when others see her as successful? Why does she feel tired even after achieving what she once wanted? The truth is simple, but often hidden. Many high achievers feel this way. The struggle is not rare. It is common, though few speak about it. The quiet hours bring up another fear. What if she loses everything? She thinks about the possibility of being laid off, about medical bills, about an emergency she cannot predict. Even though she has savings, the fear of losing stability feels stronger than the comfort of having it. This is the scarcity mindset at work, a fear that there is never enough, even when there is. Scarcity is not only about money, it is about safety, love, and self-worth. When you feel like nothing is enough, no amount of achievement soothes you. You can double your income and still feel the same. You can fill your apartment with things and still feel restless. Scarcity lives inside the nervous system, repeating the message that you are always behind. This is why her nights feel heavy. The body cannot relax when the mind insists that survival is under threat. Even in comfort, she feels unsafe. And so she lies awake, heart racing, wishing for peace. In these moments, the need is not for another raise or another achievement. The need is for safety within the self. To remember that rest is allowed, to remind the nervous system that the body is not in danger. This is the work that will come later in the story. For now, the worry still has the louder voice. The clock shows another hour gone. She knows morning will come too soon. The cycle repeats. Little sleep, another busy day, another night of worry. She tells herself she will try harder, but harder never seems to work. The harder she tries to control her thoughts, the more they spin. This first chapter is about honesty. Many people pretend they are fine, they smile in public and hide their tired eyes in private. But the truth is that success without rest does not feel like success. It feels like pressure. It feels like a cage made of gold. Admitting this truth is the first step toward healing. If you have ever stayed awake at night thinking about money, you know this feeling. You know the way the mind replays past mistakes, unpaid bills, and future fears. You know the exhaustion of carrying these thoughts into every morning. And you know the strange shame of wondering why success does not feel the way you hoped it would. The important truth is this: you are not alone in these feelings. Millions share the same experience. The numbers confirm it. The quiet hours confirm it. The research confirms it. Success does not erase worry. If anything, it sometimes adds new layers. The young professional in this story will not find peace tonight. Not yet. But this sleepless moment is where her journey begins. It is in the quiet hours of worry that the need for change is born. If she could fall asleep right now, she might never ask these questions. But the questions matter. Why does success feel heavy? Why does rest feel impossible? Why does more never feel like enough? These questions will carry her into the next part of her story. In that part, she will face the loneliness that often comes with success, even in the middle of a crowd. She will learn that isolation is another reason why happiness feels far away. And slowly, she will begin to see that healing requires more than income. It requires connection, compassion, and a new way of defining wealth. For tonight, the apartment remains quiet. The streets outside remain still. She lies in bed, eyes heavy but mind awake, caught in the storm of her thoughts. The worries swirl, but a soft question forms underneath them. Could there be a gentler way to hold success? Could there be a way to feel safe again? This is where the story pauses. The worry has been named. The truth has been spoken. The night continues, but the next part of the journey waits. The rooftop glows with warm lights. Glasses clink, laughter rises, and voices blend into a busy hum. At the center of it all, a young man in a crisp shirt forces a smile. It is his promotion party. His colleagues congratulate him, tell him how proud they are, and raise their drinks in his honor. From the outside, it is a moment of triumph. Inside, it feels strangely hollow. He nods, thanks people, and returns the smiles. Yet, his chest feels tight. He looks around the rooftop, taking in the city skyline, the glow of office towers, the energy of the night. It should feel like belonging. Instead, it feels like distance. The crowd surrounds him, but he feels separated by a wall no one else can see. This is the quiet loneliness of success. It appears when you are surrounded by people yet feel unseen. Achievements bring recognition, but not always connection. A promotion earns attention, but it does not guarantee closeness. He realizes that while he has moved up in work, he has moved further away from relationships that once felt grounding. He remembers nights in his early 20s, sitting on a couch with friends, sharing cheap pizza and long conversations. Those nights were simple, but they were alive. Now, his schedule leaves little time for those gatherings. The friends have scattered into different cities and careers. The people around him now are polite, but the conversations feel surface level. Work titles, projects, future plans. The laughter does not reach his heart. Psychologists call this feeling time poverty. When you spend nearly every hour chasing goals, you have little time left for the bonds that truly matter. Studies show that people who feel time poor experience more stress and less happiness. He is living proof. He has traded hours of friendship for hours of achievement, and tonight, on the rooftop, the cost is clear. He takes another sip of his drink and looks at his phone. Messages from family and old friends wait unanswered. He feels guilty for not calling back, for not visiting, for letting the demands of success push people away. But guilt does not fix loneliness. It only makes the gap wider. He pockets the phone and tells himself he will call tomorrow, though he knows tomorrow will be filled with meetings. This is one of the paradoxes of modern success. The higher you climb, the fewer people you feel you can lean on. Expectations grow, but spaces for vulnerability shrink. Everyone congratulates you, but few ask how you are. You smile through it because admitting loneliness feels like weakness. You tell yourself you should be grateful. You tell yourself happiness should come with progress. But inside, something feels missing. Loneliness is more than sadness. Research shows it can affect physical health as much as smoking or poor diet. Chronic loneliness raises stress hormones, weakens the immune system, and disrupts sleep. It chips away at well-being in ways people often underestimate. That is why, even in moments of celebration, he feels tired and uneasy. His body knows something is wrong, even when his achievements look right. He remembers scrolling through social media earlier that week, friends smiling on vacation, influencers buying homes, colleagues sharing polished updates. Each post gave him the sense that he was falling behind, even though he had just been promoted. Comparison sharpened his loneliness. It told him he was not doing enough, not living enough, not enjoying enough. It told him that everyone else had found happiness while he was pretending. Comparison is another thief of joy. Studies show heavy social media use is linked to increased feelings of loneliness and depression. The highlight reels of others' lives distort reality. He knows this logically, but logic does not protect emotions. He still feels the ache of not measuring up. He still feels alone in the crowd of curated smiles. At the party, a colleague tells him how lucky he is. Lucky to be young and already so far ahead. He nods and says thank you. Inside, he thinks, if only you knew. If only you knew how restless I feel. If only you knew how the nights are long and the mornings feel heavy. But he does not say it. He keeps the mask on because success often demands the mask. That mask grows heavier with time. When you always appear fine, people stop asking if you are okay. When you always deliver, people assume you are never tired. Over time, this performance becomes its own cage. He is admired, yes, but also isolated. Everyone knows the image of him. Few know the person. This loneliness has roots in culture too. In competitive environments, showing vulnerability can feel dangerous. Colleagues are also rivals. Friends are also comparisons. Even family sometimes carries expectations. The result is a life surrounded by people, yet lived in silence. Achievements are shared loudly, struggles are hidden quietly. He wonders if this is the price of progress. To rise higher, but feel lonelier. To earn more, but connect less. To appear admired, but feel unseen. These questions swirl as he listens to the laughter around him. They are questions many successful people carry, though rarely voice. There is an important truth here. Human connection is one of the strongest predictors of happiness. Decades of research, including the Harvard study of adult development, show that strong relationships are the greatest source of well-being across a lifetime. More than income, more than titles, more than fame. Connection is what sustains us. Without it, even success feels empty. He thinks back to childhood, when connection was simple. Playing outside with neighborhood kids, talking late into the night with siblings, sharing worries without fear of judgment. Those moments did not require wealth. They did not require achievement. They required presence. And that presence is what he has lost. The loneliness grows not because people are absent, but because presence is absent. Being in a crowd is not the same as being known. He craves being known. He craves being accepted without performance. He craves someone who sees beyond the job title and the curated smile. But tonight, on the rooftop, that presence is missing. As the night goes on, he starts to feel drained. Small talk feels heavier. Laughter feels forced. He excuses himself early, saying he has an early meeting. No one questions it. They cheer again for his success as he leaves, unaware of the hollowness he carries down the elevator. Walking home through quiet streets, the loneliness deepens. The silence of the city at night feels louder than the noise of the party. He realizes he has surrounded himself with people, yet feels more alone than ever. Success brought recognition, but it did not bring connection. The cost is clear now, even if he does not yet know how to change it. He arrives home, drops his keys, and sits in the dark. He does not turn on the lights. He lets the silence sit with him. He thinks again of the unanswered messages, the family calls he postponed, the friends he no longer sees. He wonders if the path he is on is worth the isolation it demands. The question lingers. This is where loneliness teaches its lesson. Success without connection does not feel like success. Recognition without closeness feels hollow. Crowds without intimacy leave you starving for presence. This is why many people, despite achievements, feel restless inside. It is not a failure of gratitude, it is the absence of connection. The young man does not yet have answers, but the realization has begun. He knows something must change. The path forward will not only be about money, it will be about rebuilding ties, about finding spaces where masks are not required. It will be about remembering that wealth without relationships is not true wealth. And so, his story pauses here, in the silence of his apartment, with the glow of the city outside. He feels the weight of loneliness pressing in, but he also feels the stir of a question. What if success could feel lighter? What if it could include connection instead of costing it? That question will follow him into the next chapter. In that chapter, we will see how the weight of success builds in other ways. The pressure to never slip, the fear of not being enough, and the heavy crown of expectation. The loneliness has been named. Next comes the weight. The office is quiet now. The hum of printers and footsteps has stopped. The city skyline glows through the wide glass windows, towers lit against the night. She sits alone at her desk in the corner office. Papers are stacked neatly, the computer is off, but her chest feels heavy. She has everything she once wanted, yet something feels wrong. She leans back in her chair, staring at the ceiling. The silence should feel peaceful, but instead, it feels pressing. The weight is not in the room, but inside her body. It is the weight of expectation. The company depends on her. Her family depends on her. Her image depends on her. Success, once light, has become a crown too heavy to wear. As a child, she dreamed of this moment. She pictured herself walking into a tall building, carrying a briefcase, speaking with authority. She thought that once she arrived here, she would feel safe. She would finally feel enough. But tonight, she realizes the truth. The fear did not go away. It grew louder. The higher she climbed, the more she worried about falling. She remembers her parents working long hours to keep food on the table. She remembers their careful budgeting, their nervous talk about bills. Those memories shaped her. They told her she must never fall back into struggle. She built her career on that drive, always climbing, always proving. Yet now, with more income than her parents ever had, she still feels the same old fear. This is what psychologists call scarcity. Scarcity is not only about numbers in a bank account. It is a mindset that whispers there is never enough. Even when the bills are paid, the whisper continues. Even when the savings account grows, the whisper grows too. It says, What if you lose it? What if it disappears? What if you fail tomorrow? She feels it when she opens her email, when she looks at her paycheck, when she sits at dinner with friends. The fear of not being enough follows her everywhere. Success has not erased it. In some ways, success has fed it. The more she has, the more she fears losing. The more she achieves, the higher the bar becomes. Studies show this is common. People often tie their identity to achievement. When this happens, even small mistakes feel like personal failures. The loss of a client, the rejection of a project, or the decline of a market feels like proof that you are unworthy. This pressure pushes high achievers to work harder, but it also drains their joy. She feels this every time she signs a contract or takes on a new role. She tells herself she cannot slip, she cannot slow down, she cannot show weakness. The weight of success presses against her, reminding her that her value feels tied to performance. If she fails, she fears she will not only lose her job, but lose her sense of worth. The crown she wears is golden, but it hurts. Promotions and titles look beautiful to others, but they feel heavy on her neck. She smiles in photos, but she feels tired behind her eyes. She delivers results, but her body feels worn. This is the hidden cost of success. It can bring recognition, but it can also bring pressure so heavy that peace is lost. She wonders if others feel the same. She thinks of colleagues who look polished but often seem stressed. She thinks of friends who buy bigger houses and nicer cars but confess to feeling exhausted. Maybe everyone is carrying a weight they do not speak about. Maybe success hides more pressure than anyone admits. Lifestyle inflation adds to the burden. As her income rose, her expenses did too. The nicer apartment, the newer car, the better clothes, each upgrade felt deserved. Each purchase felt like proof she was moving forward. But the upgrades became normal quickly. Now they are not luxuries, but obligations. The bills arrive each month, reminding her that her lifestyle depends on her constant performance. This cycle is exhausting. She earns more, she spends more, and she feels no freer than before. Research shows this pattern traps many people. Studies on lifestyle inflation confirm that higher income often leads to higher expenses, leaving people stuck in financial stress even at higher pay levels. The promise of freedom never arrives. She feels the truth of this tonight. Sitting in her corner office, she realizes she is working harder to maintain a life that does not bring her peace. The apartment is beautiful, but empty. The clothes are stylish, but do not comfort her. The recognition at work is flattering, but fleeting. None of it quiets the whisper of not enough. The weight of success also shows up in her relationships. Family members look to her for support. She is the one they call when they need help. She wants to be there for them, but the responsibility feels heavy. Friends look at her with admiration, but sometimes also with envy. She feels distance growing between them. Her achievements, meant to bring closeness, sometimes create separation. She knows she cannot stop working. She knows she cannot give up. But she wonders if there is another way to hold success. A way that feels lighter. A way that does not crush her under its pressure. For now, the answer is not clear. All she knows is that the weight is real, and it is tiring her out. Research on well-being shows why she feels this way. Beyond meeting basic needs, more money has diminishing returns on happiness. Extra income adds comfort, but it does not erase stress. What matters more is balance, purpose, and relationships. Without them, success feels hollow. The science confirms what her heart already knows. Wealth without peace is not wealth at all. She leans forward at her desk, resting her head in her hands. She thinks about all the nights she has stayed late at the office, all the dinners missed, all the weekends lost. She wonders if the extra hours were worth it. She wonders if the life she built is the life she truly wanted. These questions feel heavy, but also necessary. The city outside shines brightly, as if mocking her weariness. She knows people walking by see her office light still on and think she must be powerful, successful, secure. They do not see the pressure she feels. They do not feel the crown pressing into her. This is the truth of many high achievers. The image looks strong, but the weight inside is crushing. She gathers her things, shuts off the last light, and heads home. In the elevator, she stares at her reflection. The image looks confident, but the eyes look tired. She knows she cannot carry this weight forever. Something has to change, though she does not yet know what. Tonight's story is not about answers yet. It is about honesty. Success has given her much, but it has also given her fear, pressure, and exhaustion. Admitting this truth is the first step. Without naming the weight, she cannot learn how to set it down. As she steps outside into the night, the air is cool against her face. She breathes deeply, trying to let go of some of the heaviness. For a moment, she feels lighter. But the questions remain, waiting for her when she wakes. What if success does not have to feel this heavy? What if there is another way to define enough? This is where her chapter ends, but the story continues. In the next part, we will see how the constant chase for upgrades keeps her running without rest. We will step onto the treadmill of lifestyle inflation and watch how it traps people in cycles of exhaustion. The weight of success has been named. Next comes the endless running. The gym is nearly empty tonight. A row of treadmills hums quietly under fluorescent lights. On one of them, a young professional runs at a steady pace. His sneakers strike the moving belt, his breath comes in short bursts, and sweat gathers on his brow. From the outside, it looks like dedication. From the inside, it feels like running without end. This treadmill is more than exercise. It mirrors the life he lives. Each year he earns more, yet each year he spends more. A nicer apartment, a newer car, the latest phone, and clothes that match his position. Each upgrade excites him for a moment, then fades. Soon, what once felt like luxury becomes the new normal, and the chase begins again. This is what many call lifestyle inflation. It happens quietly when income rises. Spending rises, too. At first, it feels deserved. After years of tight budgets, finally being able to buy better things feels like progress. But soon the better things become expected things. The treadmill speeds up, and you must keep running to maintain the pace. He remembers his first apartment after college. It was small, the walls thin, the furniture mismatched, yet he recalls laughing with friends, eating noodles from paper bowls, and feeling alive. Now he lives in a spacious loft with sleek furniture and a view of the skyline, but the laughter is less frequent. The joy feels harder to reach. Comfort grew, but contentment did not. Studies show this is common. Research on happiness and income reveals that beyond basic comfort, more possessions bring smaller and smaller returns. The first step up feels good, but the second and third steps add less joy. It is the cycle of hedonic adaptation. We adjust quickly, then crave more. It feels like progress, but in truth, we are running in place. He increases the treadmill speed. Chasing a faster pace, his chest tightens, the body tires, but the machine demands more. This is the same rhythm in his financial life. Bigger paychecks come, but so do bigger bills. He thought success would bring freedom, but the upgrades locked him into more work. He earns more, yet feels no freer than when he earned less. The pressure of keeping up adds weight. His peers post photos of new homes, designer clothes, and vacations. He feels pushed to match them. Even if he does not want the same things, he feels pulled by the current. Comparison becomes fuel for spending. Without noticing, his goals shift from what matters to him to what impresses others. He pauses the treadmill for a moment, catching his breath. He wonders why he is tired all the time. He wonders why his savings do not grow the way he thought they would. Then he remembers the upgrades, the dinners out, the impulse purchases. He realizes he is spending to prove something, but he is not sure to whom. The treadmill starts again. He grips the rails, trying to steady himself. He thinks of childhood, when new shoes or a rare treat felt exciting. Those moments were special because they were rare. Now, with higher income, he buys things often. Yet each purchase excites him less. The joy fades faster. The treadmill spins faster. The emptiness grows louder. This is the trap of running in place. Success measured by spending will always demand more. The bar will rise with each step. The satisfaction will fade with each purchase. No finish line will appear. Unless something changes, the treadmill will keep spinning and he will keep running. He remembers a recent conversation with a friend who earns less but seems calmer. The friend lives in a modest apartment, drives an old car, and spends more time outdoors. When asked why he does not upgrade, the friend said, "I'd rather have time than things." That answer stayed with him. It made him wonder if freedom was not about more, but about enough. Freedom is often misunderstood. Many think it comes from higher income and more possessions. But true freedom comes from control over your choices. If expenses always rise with income, then control is lost. The treadmill keeps dictating the pace. Real freedom is the ability to slow down, to step off, to rest without fear. He slows the treadmill again, letting it come to a stop. He stands still, breathing heavily. The silence feels strange after the constant rhythm. He realizes how rare stillness has become in his life. Always working, always buying, always upgrading, rarely pausing, rarely asking if the path makes sense. He wipes sweat from his face and sits on the edge of the machine. The gym is quiet now, nearly dark. He thinks about how much energy he has spent both tonight and over the years without feeling closer to peace. He wonders how long he can keep running before exhaustion forces him to stop. The truth is that exhaustion is already here. He feels it in his body, in his restless nights, in his anxious mornings. He knows he cannot keep this pace forever. Something must change, but change requires honesty. He must admit that the chase for more has not brought him happiness. He must admit that he has been running in place. This realization is the start of wisdom. Many people never pause long enough to see it. They keep running, thinking the next milestone will bring peace. But tonight, in this quiet gym, he has a chance to see clearly. The treadmill is a machine. It will run as long as he keeps pressing the buttons. He has the power to step off. He gathers his things and heads for the exit. The night air outside feels cool on his skin. The city lights shine, but he no longer feels pulled to match their brightness. He feels tired, but also aware. He knows now that success without intention is a trap. He knows that more is not always better. He knows the treadmill will keep calling, but he does not have to answer. This is where his chapter ends. He is still unsure of what comes next, but the question has formed. What if he stopped running in place? What if he slowed down, spent less, and found joy in enough? The answer is not here yet, but the seed has been planted, and so the night continues. The city alive, the gym behind him, he walks home, carrying not new possessions, but a quiet truth. Success measured only by upgrades will always demand more. But there is another way waiting to be found. A way where peace and freedom matter more than the chase. That path begins to reveal itself in the next part of our story. There, we will see how comparison and masks make success feel even more empty. The treadmill has shown the endless running. Next comes the mirror, where the image of success hides insecurity beneath the surface. The room is dark, except for the glow of a phone screen. She scrolls slowly, thumb moving without thought. Image after image passes by. Friends smiling in front of new houses. Colleagues on vacation, toes in the sand, drinks in hand. Influencers posting polished photos of clothes, cars, and achievements. Her own reflection shines faintly in the glass of the screen. She frowns, though no one can see. She has achieved much herself. Her job is stable. Her apartment is stylish. Her income has grown. Yet as she scrolls, the feelings inside grow smaller. The images make her own life seem less than enough. The joy she felt earlier in the day fades as comparison rises. She whispers to herself, "Why don't I feel as happy as they look?" Comparison is quiet but heavy. Research shows social media often increases feelings of inadequacy. We see highlight reels, not real lives. We see the polished photo, not the arguments behind it. We see the new house, not the debt attached to it. Yet the brain compares anyway. The result is the same. Our own life feels smaller, even when it is full. She sets the phone down for a moment, but the feeling lingers. She thinks about work. She thinks about the confident face she shows each day. She leads meetings, presents ideas, and receives praise. Everyone sees her as successful. But beneath the confident mask, she feels doubt. The mask hides worry, and the mirror reflects both. This is what some call imposter feelings. Even high achievers doubt themselves, thinking success came from luck or timing, not ability. She feels this often. Each compliment bounces off the mask instead of sinking in. She smiles, says thank you, and moves on. Inside, she wonders if she is fooling everyone, including herself. The mirror on her wall catches her eye. She studies her reflection, the clothes, the makeup, the practiced smile. She looks successful, but does she feel it? The mask is convincing, but the person underneath feels tired. She wishes she could let the mask drop without fear of judgment. She wishes someone could see past the polished image to the real her. At work, masks are expected. Vulnerability feels risky. Everyone hides their exhaustion, their doubts, their worries. The culture rewards perfection, not honesty. The mask becomes part of survival. Over time, it becomes hard to tell where the mask ends and the person begins. She fears she has lost touch with her true self. The phone buzzes again. Another notification. Another photo. Another chance to compare. She thinks about why she posts her own highlights. A new outfit, a promotion, a dinner out. She shares them to show progress, to belong, to prove she is doing well. But the truth is that she posts the mask, not the full story. The mirror reflects the same. This cycle drains her. Success should bring peace, but comparison and masks bring only exhaustion. She wonders why she feels empty when she has so much. The truth is clear. Success measured by outside approval will never satisfy the inside. Approval fades. Likes fade, compliments fade. What remains is the quiet question. Am I enough? She remembers childhood again. Back then, approval mattered too. Good grades earned praise. Bad grades brought disappointment. Achievements became proof of worth. This lesson stayed with her. As an adult, she still feels she must prove herself again and again. Each new success is not a resting point, but another mask to wear. The pressure grows heavier when others look to her as an example. Family members brag about her. Friends comment on how impressive she is. Colleagues look up to her. She feels she must maintain the image at all costs. The mask cannot slip. The mirror cannot crack. Yet inside, the weight feels unbearable. This loneliness is sharper than being alone. It is the loneliness of not being seen. Surrounded by people, yet hidden behind a mask. Surrounded by mirrors, yet unsure of who is reflected back. She craves honesty, but honesty feels dangerous. She craves rest, but rest feels undeserved. The truth is that many people live this way. Success becomes a performance. Social media, office culture, and family expectations all reward the mask. But living behind masks comes at a cost. It steals intimacy. It steals connection. It steals peace. The more convincing the mask, the more unseen the person becomes. She picks up her phone again, then sets it down quickly. She cannot keep scrolling tonight. The ache is too strong. Instead, she turns off the screen and sits in silence. She touches her face, feeling the muscles relax without the forced smile. For a moment, she lets herself breathe without performance. It feels strange, but also honest. This honesty matters. Without it, she cannot begin to heal. Healing requires admitting the emptiness, the comparison, the mask. Healing requires saying the words, I feel insecure. I feel unseen. I feel tired of pretending. Speaking these truths feels terrifying, but also freeing. She whispers them into the quiet room, hoping the walls will keep her secret. The mirror reflects her again. She studies her face, the tired eyes, the lines of worry, the softer parts she usually hides. She does not hate what she sees. She does not love it yet either, but she sees herself more clearly than before. For tonight, that is enough. The phone remains dark beside her. The world of polished images continues without her. For once, she is not comparing. She is simply sitting with herself. She realizes she cannot control how others present their lives, but she can choose how she relates to her own. She can begin to live with fewer masks, even if only in small ways. This chapter ends with a quiet truth. Success without authenticity feels hollow. Comparison steals joy. Masks steal connection. Mirrors reflect what is shown, but they also reflect what is hidden. To feel whole, the person behind the mask must be seen. To feel peace, the comparison must end. She lies down in bed, this time without scrolling. She lets her eyes close, though the thoughts still swirl. She knows the mask will return tomorrow, but tonight she has named it. She has admitted what it costs. That honesty is the first step toward change. As sleep begins to pull at her, a question forms softly. What if she stopped wearing the mask so often? What if she allowed someone to see her as she is? The thought lingers like a faint light, guiding her toward the next part of the journey. In the following chapter, we will see how exhaustion grows when the chase never stops. We will watch how overwork and time poverty burn out even the strongest achievers. The mirror has shown the mask. Next comes the flame that burns too fast. The story of being worn thin. The office lights glow long after sunset. Rows of empty desks stretch out like a quiet sea. At the far end, one light still burns. He sits there, shoulders hunched, eyes heavy, staring at the same screen he has stared at for 12 hours. His tie is loosened, his coffee cup empty, his body drained. Yet his hand keeps moving on the keyboard. He is the first to arrive every morning. He is the last to leave every night. Colleagues admire his dedication. His manager praises his effort. The company rewards him with promotions and raises, but inside, he feels worn thin. Each day is a blur of tasks and deadlines. Each night is a battle against fatigue. His life has become a cycle of work and collapse. The early excitement of his career is gone. At first, the long hours felt purposeful. He believed the sacrifices would pay off. He told himself this was the path to security and pride. But years have passed and the sacrifices have multiplied. Vacations canceled, dinners missed, weekends consumed by emails. The promised payoff feels distant, while the exhaustion feels permanent. This is burnout, not simple tiredness, but deep emotional and physical exhaustion. It shows in his lack of motivation, in his irritability, in the numbness that creeps into his work. Research shows burnout affects most young professionals at some point. Surveys report that more than 80% of millennials have felt it. Burnout is not rare. It is nearly universal. He pushes through with caffeine and determination, but his body sends signals he cannot ignore. Headaches, insomnia, stomach pains, a racing heart in the middle of the night. These are the body's warnings. They say the pace is too fast, the stress too heavy, the flame burning at both ends. But he keeps working, afraid of what slowing down might mean. The culture around him praises busyness. Being exhausted is seen as commitment. Being always available is seen as loyalty. He has absorbed this message, wearing his exhaustion like a badge of honor, yet the badge hides the truth. He is breaking down. His mind is restless, his body is weary, his spirit is fading. Time feels scarce. This is what researchers call time poverty. Even with all his achievements, he feels there are never enough hours. He rushes from one meeting to the next, one email to the next, never breathing deeply. Time poverty increases stress and decreases happiness. It makes even joyful moments feel rushed. He knows this, but cannot seem to stop. He remembers when time felt abundant. As a child, summers stretched endlessly. Afternoons were filled with games, laughter, and rest. As a young adult, weekends meant friends, music, and long conversations. Now, time feels like sand slipping through his fingers. Even when he takes a break, guilt steals the rest. The thought of unfinished work hovers like a shadow. At home, the exhaustion follows him. He sits on the couch with his partner, but cannot focus on the conversation. He tries to play with his child, but checks his phone for emails. He eats dinner quickly, then returns to his laptop. Presence has been replaced by distraction. He is there physically, but not emotionally. His loved ones feel the distance. He feels it too. Loneliness grows in the spaces work has taken. Friends stop inviting him out, knowing he will decline. Family gathers without him, understanding he is too busy. He watches the photos later and feels a pang of regret. Success has cost him connection. The long hours meant to provide security have stolen the very life he hoped to secure. He tells himself this is temporary. He tells himself once he reaches the next milestone, he will slow down. But milestones keep moving. Each goal achieved leads to another. Burnout deepens, yet the cycle continues. This is the trap of overwork. Believing peace is coming later while destroying peace in the present. The body cannot sustain this forever. Studies show chronic stress changes the brain, weakening memory and increasing anxiety. It weakens the immune system, raising the risk of illness. Burnout is not only emotional, it is physical. It leaves scars on health that linger long after the work is done. He feels this truth every morning when he wakes already tired. Tonight, alone in the quiet office, he feels the hollowness more sharply. He closes his laptop and rests his head in his hands. His eyes burn, his shoulders ache, his mind spins. He wonders if this is what success is meant to feel like. He wonders if the cost is worth the reward. He wonders if the reward even exists. The silence answers him. The office is empty. The world outside moves on without him. He has given his hours, his energy, his health to this work, yet the sense of fulfillment is missing. He is praised for his dedication, But praise does not ease exhaustion. Recognition does not restore sleep. He thinks of colleagues who burned out completely. Some left their jobs in despair, others faced health crises. He once thought he was different, that he was stronger. Now he realizes strength is not the answer. Sustainability is. Without balance, even the strongest will collapse. Burnout is not a weakness. It is the body's demand for change. He packs his bag slowly and leaves the office. The elevator ride down feels long. The lobby guard nods at him, recognizing the familiar late-night routine. Outside, the night air feels cool. It brushes his skin, a small reminder of the world beyond work. For a moment, he breathes deeply, savoring the quiet. Walking home, he feels both empty and aware. Empty from years of depletion. Aware that something must shift. He cannot keep burning at this pace. He cannot keep wearing down his body and soul. If he does, he will lose more than time. He will lose himself. At home, he collapses into bed. Sleep does not come easily. His mind replays the day, the emails left unanswered, the projects unfinished. Even in bed, the work clings to him. This is the deepest wound of burnout. It steals rest. The bed should feel safe. Instead, it feels like another office chair. He closes his eyes and asks himself quietly, when will it be enough? When will I allow myself to rest? The question is unanswered tonight, but it lingers. It is the beginning of a shift. For change begins not with answers, but with the courage to ask new questions. The story pauses here. The truth of burnout has been named. He is worn thin, stretched past his limits, carrying more than one body can hold. The chapter ends with the image of a candle burning brightly, but melting quickly. The flame is beautiful, but unsustainable. In the next chapter, the journey turns toward realization. We will see how chasing more can feel like chasing a mirage always out of reach. The exhaustion has been felt. The crown has grown heavy. Now comes the moment of truth, when the achiever begins to see that the chase itself may be the problem. The morning sun is soft against the window. She laces her shoes and steps outside for a walk. The air is cool, the street quiet, the world slowly waking. She walks toward a small trail that winds through trees and hills. For the first time in weeks, she has allowed herself this pause. Her body craves movement, not in a rush, but in a rhythm that feels human again. As she walks, she thinks about the years behind her. Each milestone reached, each title earned, each number in her bank account climbing. Each time, she thought it would be enough. Each time, she thought happiness would arrive and stay. Yet each time, after a few days of celebration, the feeling faded. The emptiness returned, whispering for more. This is the mirage of more. It looks close from a distance. It looks like the thing that will quench your thirst, the thing that will finally satisfy. But as you reach it, it moves further away. A new job, a bigger apartment, a higher salary, a new relationship. Always something else, always somewhere else, always later. The finish line never arrives. She remembers the first raise she received. She felt joy, relief, pride. She called her parents, told her friends, celebrated with dinner, but within weeks, the bills grew, the expenses rose, the joy faded. She set her eyes on the next raise. She promised herself that one would bring lasting peace. It did not. The pattern repeated. Research has a name for this. Hedonic adaptation. Studies show that humans quickly adjust to new circumstances. What once thrilled becomes normal. The brain resets to its baseline and begins seeking again. It explains why even lottery winners often return to their old levels of happiness after a year. The high cannot last. The mind always wants the next. She feels this truth deeply. Her loft, once a dream, now feels ordinary. Her title, once a goal, now feels expected. The travel, the purchases, the milestones, they all brought moments of joy, but no lasting peace. It is as if she has been drinking salt water. Each sip promises relief, but it only deepens the thirst. On the trail, she climbs a hill. Her breath quickens, her legs strain, but she continues. Reaching the top, she looks out over the city. Towers rise in the distance. Roads stretch endlessly. From here, the skyline looks both grand and small. She realizes she has been climbing a different kind of hill for years, one that grows taller each time she nears the top. This is what some call the arrival fallacy, the belief that happiness will come once you arrive at a certain point, yet arrival does not bring permanence. The joy of arrival is short-lived. The disappointment that follows is sharp. She knows this well. Each arrival has been followed by a deeper hunger. Each achievement has left her asking, "Is this all?" She wonders why no one warned her. The culture around her celebrates more. More is seen as progress. More is seen as success. Yet few speak about the emptiness that follows. Few admit that the mirage always shifts further. Instead, everyone smiles, posts, and pretends. She feels trapped in a cycle she never chose but absorbed like air. The truth is that more is not the problem. Desire is natural. Growth is human. The problem is believing more will fill the emptiness. The problem is expecting possessions or titles to fix feelings of unworthiness. The problem is tying peace to a moving target. She realizes she has been doing this all along. She pauses at the top of the hill. The city stretches below her. She feels both small and free. She knows she cannot keep chasing the mirage forever. Her body is already tired. Her mind is already restless. Something must shift. She must learn to separate success from peace to find meaning beyond the chase. The science supports this shift. Studies show that happiness rises with income only up to a point. After basic needs and some comfort are met, the gains flatten. Beyond that, health, relationships, and purpose matter far more. She reads these studies sometimes, but struggles to live them. The pressure to chase remains strong. Yet here, on this hill, the truth feels clearer. She recalls a friend who left a high-paying job for simpler work. Many called it foolish, but her friend now laughs more, rests more, and seems lighter. That image has stayed with her. It shows that stepping off the treadmill is possible. It shows that saying no to the mirage is not failure, but courage. The question is whether she can do the same. Can she learn to stop chasing? Can she accept enough? Can she redefine what wealth means? These questions linger as she watches the skyline. The answers will take time, but the seed of change is here. She feels it in her chest, a quiet loosening of the grip of more. She begins walking down the hill. The air feels different now. The trees sway gently, the birds call softly, the earth smells alive. She realizes how rare these moments are. Most days, she is too busy to notice. Yet these small details bring her more calm than any purchase has. She wonders why she forgot this truth. It is not that money does not matter. Money provides safety and choice, but the endless chase distorts its role. Instead of being a tool for life, it becomes the meaning of life. She sees now how dangerous that trap is. It steals presence, it steals gratitude, it steals joy. The mirage of more keeps you thirsty, even when you have enough. She returns home from the walk feeling different. Not fully free, but aware. She knows the mirage will tempt her again. New goals, new upgrades, new comparisons. But tonight, she has seen through it, even for a moment. That vision is enough to start. Awareness is the first step toward change. She sits by the window, watching the city as the sun sets. Lights blink on across the skyline. Each light is someone else chasing, someone else striving, someone else restless. She wonders how many of them feel the same emptiness she feels. She wonders how many are running toward the same mirage. The night grows darker. She closes her eyes and rests her head against the chair. She feels the tiredness of years of chasing, but she also feels a spark of clarity. She whispers softly to herself, "More is not the answer. Peace is the words." Feel fragile, but they are real. They will stay with her. The story of chasing more ends here for now. The mirage has been named. The treadmill has been seen for what it is. The crown has been felt as heavy, and in the stillness of tonight, the truth has been spoken. More will never be enough if peace is missing. But naming the mirage is only part of the journey. The next step is facing the deeper wound beneath it, the feeling of never enough that hides in the heart, even when success surrounds you. That wound is old, and it shapes every decision. In the next chapter, we will listen to that voice of scarcity. We will see how it keeps even the successful trapped in fear. The apartment is quiet, except for the sound of rain tapping against the windows. She sits at the kitchen table with a warm cup of tea, staring at the steam rising into the air. Across from her, a mentor she trusts leans forward, listening closely. For the first time in years, she allows herself to say the words out loud. "No matter what I do, it never feels like enough." The mentor nods slowly. There is no judgment in the gesture, only recognition. Many people who achieve much still carry this feeling. It does not matter how many promotions they earn, how much they save, or how many goals they reach. The inner voice continues to whisper, more, better, faster. She hears that whisper every day, in work, in money, in relationships. This is the scarcity mindset. It is not simply a thought, but a way of living. It convinces you that there is never enough time, never enough money, never enough love, never enough success. Even when the evidence says otherwise, the feeling persists. The scarcity mindset locks the nervous system in a state of fear, unable to rest, always bracing for loss. She remembers growing up with little. The bills were always tight. Her parents argued over money. Vacations were rare. Treats were occasional. Those years left a mark. Even now, with financial stability, the old fear repeats itself. Her body reacts to small stresses as if survival were at stake. A delayed paycheck or an unexpected bill feels like a threat. The past lives on in the present. The mentor tells her this is common. Many successful people come from scarcity. Their drive comes from fear of returning to lack. Fear becomes fuel. It pushes them to work harder, earn more, and achieve faster. But fear as fuel never runs clean. It leaves behind anxiety, guilt, and exhaustion. It makes success feel fragile, like it could crumble at any moment. She sips her tea and thinks about her habits. She checks her bank account daily. She replays mistakes from years ago. She worries about losing what she has built. Even during celebrations, her mind drifts to future risks. Scarcity turns every joy into a warning, every gain into a fragile possession. The present moment is never fully enjoyed. This is why she feels never enough. Achievements pile up, but the internal measure keeps shifting. Each new success resets the bar higher. Each win becomes the new baseline. The voice of scarcity insists it is still not enough. The cycle continues endlessly, leaving her weary and restless. Studies confirm this pattern. Research shows that people who measure worth by external achievements are more likely to feel anxious and less satisfied. Perfectionism, tied closely to scarcity, leads to constant self-criticism. Even high performers feel inadequate because their sense of worth depends on meeting ever-rising standards. The science explains what her heart already knows. The chase cannot end until the mindset shifts. She remembers a specific moment at work. After completing a major project, her manager praised her publicly. Colleagues applauded. She smiled, thanked them, and returned to her desk. Yet within minutes, she was worrying about the next task. The praise did not settle. The sense of accomplishment vanished quickly. The voice returned. What's next? Don't slow down. The mentor speaks gently. Enough is not a number. Enough is a mindset. She hears the words but struggles to believe them. For so long, she has tied safety to numbers, salary, savings, goals. The idea that peace could exist without constant chasing feels foreign. She wants to believe it, but the fear resists. She recalls watching her parents one winter. Despite the bills and worries, they laughed together over a simple meal. They looked tired but happy. As a child, she did not understand how joy could exist in scarcity. Now she realizes the truth. Enough is not found in possessions. It is found in presence. The memory softens something inside her. Still, the fear lingers. She fears letting go of scarcity will make her careless. She fears she will lose her edge, her drive, her security. Scarcity feels like protection, even as it exhausts her. The mentor reassures her. Letting go of fear does not mean losing discipline. It means making room for peace alongside responsibility. This thought stays with her. She considers how often she has punished herself in the name of responsibility. She works long hours to feel secure, yet never feels secure enough. She saves money, but feels guilty spending it. She earns recognition, but dismisses it quickly. The voice of scarcity makes joy unsafe. Even when life is stable, her body prepares for collapse. She realizes how much this mindset has shaped her identity. She is known as the responsible one, the achiever, the provider. People rely on her. She wears this role proudly, but it adds pressure. If she slows down, will she still be respected? If she chooses peace, will people think she is weak? The fear of losing identity reinforces the cycle of never enough. The mentor invites her to reflect. What if you already are enough? What if your worth does not rise or fall with performance? The words are simple, but they land heavily. She has never truly believed this. Her self-worth has always been tied to achievement. The idea that she could be worthy simply by existing feels strange, but also hopeful. She looks at her reflection in the dark window. The city lights flicker behind her. She sees a tired face, but also a strong one. She whispers softly, "Maybe I am enough." The words tremble, but they exist. Speaking them aloud feels like planting a seed that may grow with time, with care, with patience. This seed matters. Without it, the cycle of scarcity continues endlessly. With it, change becomes possible. She may still feel the old fears, but she now has a countervoice. A voice that can say, "You are enough today. You have enough today. You can rest." It is small now, but even small voices can grow louder over time. The rain outside slows to a drizzle. The night deepens. She sits quietly, finishing her tea, feeling both weary and lighter. The scarcity mindset will not vanish overnight, but she has named it. She has begun to question it. That questioning opens the door to healing. Scarcity thrives in silence. Speaking, it weakens its hold. As she prepares for bed, she feels the familiar fears rise again. But tonight, she also feels a new thought forming. A thought that perhaps safety is not only in numbers, but also in trust. Trust in herself, trust in her ability to adapt. Trust in the idea that life is not only about more, but about meaning. The chapter closes here with the whisper of scarcity still present, but no longer unchallenged. She knows the voice will return tomorrow, but she also knows she can answer it differently. The path ahead is not about silencing fear completely, but about learning to live with enough, even when the old whisper tries to argue. And so the night grows quiet again. The rain fades, the city rests, and she lies down with a small shift inside her. Tomorrow, the chase may continue, but tonight, she has glimpsed another way, a way that feels softer, steadier, and closer to peace. In the next chapter, she will take this seed of change further. She will begin to find her true north, the values and meaning that guide her beyond comparison and scarcity. The voice of never enough has been heard. Next comes the search for what truly matters. The morning light slips gently through the curtains. She wakes slowly, the weight of yesterday's worries still faint in her body. But something feels different. A seed was planted in her mind last night, the thought that maybe enough is not a number, but a way of being. She carries that seed with her as she rises, stretches, and prepares for the day. Instead of rushing to her phone, she takes out an old notebook. Its cover is worn, its pages half empty. She opens it and writes a simple question at the top. What truly matters to me? The words look strange at first. For years, she has written goals, lists, and deadlines. This question feels softer, slower, more human. She pauses before answering. Her first instinct is to write achievements, promotions, savings targets, milestones, but she hesitates. Those things have never brought the peace she hoped for. She thinks of moments that felt alive, cooking with her grandmother, laughing with friends, watching the sunset after a long day. None of those moments required money or recognition. They required presence. She begins to write. Family, health, time to rest, friendships, creativity, kindness. The list flows gently. These are not goals to check off. They are values, steady and enduring. Values are different from achievements. Values do not end you, do not finish kindness, you do not complete family. They guide, they anchor, they remind. They are true north. True north is not about climbing higher, it is about finding direction. A compass does not remove the terrain, but it tells you where to walk. Values work the same way. They give meaning to steps, even when the road is uneven. Without them, you wander in circles, chasing mirages. With them, you move with purpose, even if slowly. She closes her eyes and remembers times she ignored her values. Working late instead of calling family, choosing a promotion over rest. Comparing herself to others instead of honoring her own pace. Each time she strayed, she felt emptier. Each time she returned spending time with loved ones, creating art, being kind, she felt fuller. The pattern is clear. Research supports this truth. Studies show that people who live in alignment with their values report greater well-being, even in stressful times. Values act as buffers. They turn challenges into meaningful experiences instead of empty struggles. Purpose is protective. It does not erase hardship, but it makes hardship bearable. She recalls a survey she once read. Nearly 2/3 of people said they would rather earn less money doing meaningful work than earn more money in a job they dislike. At the time, she dismissed it as idealistic, but now it makes sense. Meaning is wealth. Without it, even riches feel poor. With it, even modest lives feel rich. She looks out the window at the morning sky. The sun is rising slowly, steady, and sure. It does not rush, yet it lights the world, she thinks. Maybe my life can be like this. Steady, guided, purposeful. Not rushed, not compared, not measured only by numbers. Guided instead by what matters most. The fear of scarcity is still there. She knows it will not vanish overnight. But values give her a way to answer it. When the voice says never enough, she can ask, enough for what? Enough for whom? If her values are kindness and connection, then she already has enough to live them today. The fear loses some of its power. She writes a few more notes in her journal. Simple reminders. Call my parents, take a walk after work, spend less time on social media, create something, even if small. These are not grand achievements. They are steps toward living by her true north. Small, daily choices that align with her deepest values. The day unfolds differently. At work, she notices the familiar pressures, deadlines, meetings, expectations, but she also notices her reactions. She no longer sees every task as a measure of worth. She sees them as part of the role, not part of her identity. When a mistake occurs, she feels frustration, but not collapse. She remembers she is more than her performance. This shift feels subtle but profound. Identity fused with achievement is fragile. When success is threatened, the self feels threatened, but identity grounded in values is stable. Achievements may rise or fall, but the core remains intact. This stability is what she has been missing. True North provides it. At lunch, she chooses to sit outside. The air is fresh, the sun warm. She leaves her phone in her bag and eats slowly. She notices the taste of her food, the sound of birds, the laughter of strangers passing by. These small moments remind her of what matters. They cost nothing, yet they nourish deeply. That evening, she calls an old friend. Their conversation is simple, filled with laughter and warmth. She realizes how much she missed this connection. It fills her more than any purchase has. She feels her shoulders relax, her body soften. The voice of scarcity is quieter tonight. The voice of connection is louder. True North is not a destination. It is a practice. It requires regular attention, like tending a garden. If ignored, weeds of comparison and scarcity return. If nurtured, values grow stronger, guiding each step. She understands this now. She feels ready to keep practicing. The night falls. She writes again in her journal before bed. Today, I lived closer to my true north. The words feel gentle, not perfect, but real. She closes the notebook and lies down. Her body feels more at ease than it has in weeks. She drifts toward sleep with a new kind of peace. The chapter ends here, with the compass in her hand, pointing quietly toward meaning. She knows storms will come and doubts will return, but she now has direction. She is no longer wandering aimlessly. She is guided by values that endure. In the next chapter, we will see what happens when she makes space to breathe. After years of rushing, she begins to slow down. She learns that rest is not a luxury, but a necessity. The compass of values points her forward. And now she must learn to walk gently, with time on her side. The office is still buzzing when he looks at the clock, 6 in the evening, and most people are still at their desks. He usually stays until 9 or later, but tonight, something feels different. He remembers the seed planted by his own reflection, the thought that maybe the weight he carries does not have to define him. He shuts down his computer. He gathers his bag. For the first time in months, he leaves while the sky is still light. Walking outside, the air feels cooler than he expected. The sun is beginning to sink, painting the sky in gentle colors. For a moment, he wonders if he should turn back, answer a few more emails, prove his dedication. But instead, he keeps walking, letting the city sounds fade behind him. His body feels uneasy, as if breaking routine is unsafe. Still, he continues. He heads toward a nearby park. He has passed it many times, but rarely entered. Tonight, he steps onto the path, hearing the crunch of gravel beneath his shoes. Trees arch above, their leaves whispering in the breeze. Children laugh in the distance, playing on the swings. Couples stroll slowly, holding hands. The world here moves at a different pace. He walks further, breathing in the air. For months, his breaths have been shallow, caught between deadlines and stress. Tonight, he breathes more deeply. His chest expands, his shoulders loosen, his mind begins to quiet. It feels unfamiliar, but also natural. Rest has been missing for so long that his body almost forgot what it was. Now it begins to remember. He sits on a bench near a pond. Ducks swim across the surface, ripples spreading behind them. The stillness of the water reflects the soft light of the setting sun. He realizes how long it has been since he sat without purpose. No agenda, no meeting, no task, just sitting, breathing, existing. It feels strange but also healing. Rest is not a reward. Rest is a need. Yet he has treated rest as something to earn, only after everything else is complete. But everything else is never complete. There is always another task, another project, another demand. This is why rest has been missing. By tying it to achievement, he has denied himself the very thing his body craves. He thinks about studies he once read, showing that people who value time over money report higher happiness. Time gives space for connection, for reflection, for health. Without time, money feels hollow. He realizes how often he has chosen money over time, saying yes to long hours, extra projects, endless tasks. Tonight is a small act of choosing differently. The guilt lingers, but slowly fades. He watches the children play, the couples mock, the sky darken. He remembers moments from his childhood when time felt abundant, long summer evenings filled with play, laughter, and rest. Back then, he never questioned whether rest was allowed. It was natural. Somewhere along the way, he forgot. He thinks about boundaries. At work, he has always said yes. Yes to staying late, yes to extra assignments, yes to being available at all hours. Each yes brought recognition, but also depletion. He realizes now that saying no is not weakness. Saying no can be an act of protection. Protection of health, protection of peace, protection of the life he wants to live. He decides to try small steps. No emails after a certain hour, weekends reserved for family and friends, short walks during the day, even if only for a few minutes. These changes feel small, but small changes build new rhythms. Boundaries are not walls. They are gentle lines that give life balance. The evening deepens, lights flicker on around the park. The pond reflects the glow of lamps along the path. He stays longer than planned, savoring the quiet. His body feels lighter, his mind less crowded. He wonders why he resisted this for so long, why he believed rest was dangerous when it feels so natural now. He thinks again of the phrase, time poverty. For years, he has lived in it, even when his income grew. He always felt there was not enough time rushing through each day. But time poverty is not always about hours. It is about priorities. By giving everything to work, he left little for living. Tonight, he feels the richness of time again, and it changes him. Walking home, he feels calmer than he has in months. The streets glow under soft lamps, and the night air carries the scent of rain. He thinks of how good it feels to notice these small details. He realizes how often he has been blind to them, trapped in his thoughts. Awareness feels like breathing fresh air after being underwater. At home, he prepares a simple meal. He eats slowly, tasting each bite. No rushing, no distractions. He sits by the window and listens to the quiet sounds of the city. For once, he is not multitasking. He is not planning the next day. He is simply present. The meal feels richer than any expensive dinner he has rushed through. Later, he calls his sister. They talk for 20 minutes, laughing about old memories. He realizes how much he missed this connection. Work had pushed it aside. Scarcity told him there was no time, but tonight, by choosing differently, time appeared. He hangs up, feeling fuller, more alive. As he gets ready for bed, he feels the difference in his body. His shoulders are looser, his mind quieter, his breath deeper. Rest feels closer than it has in years. He understands now that rest is not selfish. It is not wasted. It is necessary, like food or water. Without it, everything else collapses. With it, everything else feels lighter. He lies in bed, thinking softly. Success measured only by hours and money is unsustainable. Success that includes rest, relationships, and presence is true success. He wants to keep choosing this balance. It will not be perfect, but it will be possible. Tonight proved that the night carries him gently towards sleep. The body, long denied rest, finally begins to relax. He feels a quiet gratitude for the simple choice to leave early, to breathe, to notice. It is a small step, but one that points toward a new way of living. This chapter ends with a truth. Rest is not an afterthought. Rest is part of wealth. Without it, success feels empty. With it, success feels sustainable. The path forward is not about running faster, but about breathing along the way. In the next chapter, the story will turn toward healing the past. The financial shame and guilt carried for years will be unwrapped. The heavy stones of regret will be set down. For rest is not only about the body, but also about the heart. And the heart cannot rest until shame is released. The rain falls steadily against the window, soft and rhythmic like a lullaby. She sits at her desk with a notebook open, pen resting between her fingers. The lamp casts a warm glow across the page. Tonight, she has given herself permission to face something she has avoided for years. She is ready to look at her financial past, the mistakes, the regrets, the shame she has carried like heavy stones. She begins slowly writing memories as they surface. The first credit card she maxed out in college, the loan payment she missed, the years she felt embarrassed buying groceries with little left in her account. Each memory comes with a sting of guilt. For so long, she buried these stories, hiding them even from herself. But tonight, she writes them line by line without judgment. As the ink fills the page, she feels her chest tighten. Shame has lived there for years, whispering that she is careless, irresponsible, unworthy. She remembers the late fees, the collection calls, the sense of dread opening her bank app. Even now, with stability, those old emotions return. They tell her she cannot trust herself, that she will always be one mistake away from falling apart. Financial shame is powerful. It makes you believe your past defines you forever. It makes you hide, pretend, and isolate. She has felt it many times, smiling at friends while secretly worried about rent, avoiding conversations with family to hide the truth. Pretending success meant she never struggled. The mask hid the reality, but the shame remained. She stops writing and closes her eyes. The rain continues outside, steady and soothing. She breathes deeply and whispers softly, "I forgive myself." The words feel heavy at first, almost untrue. But she repeats them again, "I forgive myself." With each repetition, the words begin to soften the sting. Forgiveness does not erase the past, it simply loosens its grip. She remembers something her mentor once told her. Shame thrives in silence. It shrinks when spoken. Tonight, she is speaking, even if only to the page. By writing her past, she is taking away shame's hiding place. By whispering forgiveness, she is offering herself compassion she never allowed before. The notebook fills slowly. She writes about overspending to feel included, about buying things to impress, about hiding debts from those she loved. Each line is painful, but each line is also a release. It is like dropping stones from a backpack she has carried too long. With each stone gone, her body feels lighter. She pauses again and thinks of her parents. They too carried financial struggles, though they rarely spoke of them. She remembers their stress, their arguments, their sacrifices. She realizes some of her shame is not hers alone. It is inherited, passed down through silence and fear. Understanding this softens her judgment. She sees that her struggles were part of a larger story, one that many families share. She flips to a new page and begins to write differently. This time, she writes what she has learned, how living with debt taught her the value of patience, how financial mistakes taught her resilience, how the pain of scarcity taught her gratitude for small comforts. These lessons are real. They are part of her strength. The shame begins to transform into wisdom. Tears form as she writes, but they do not feel heavy. They feel cleansing. For the first time, she sees her financial past not only as failure, but as part of her growth. She remembers the nights of stress, but also the mornings she kept going. She remembers the fear, but also the determination it built. She sees now that her past is not something to hide, but something to honor. The rain outside slows to a drizzle. The night grows quieter. She closes the notebook and places her hand on the cover. She feels calmer, more grounded. The shame has not disappeared completely, but it feels lighter, softer, less defining. She whispers again, "I forgive myself." This time, the words feel truer. Forgiveness is not a single act. It is a practice. She knows the old voice of shame will return. But she also knows she can answer it differently now. She can remind herself that she has grown, that she has learned, that she is not her mistakes. She can carry her past with compassion instead of judgment. She thinks about how many people carry silent financial shame. How many lie awake at night, replaying old debts, missed payments, or choices they regret. How many hide their struggles out of fear of being judged. She wishes they too could sit down tonight with a notebook, whisper forgiveness, and feel lighter. She wishes shame were less lonely. She stands and walks to the window. The city glows under the wet streets. She sees reflections of light in the puddles. For a moment, she sees herself in those reflections not as a failure, not as someone broken, but as someone human. Human enough to make mistakes, human enough to learn, human enough to forgive. This chapter closes with a truth. Financial shame does not have to define you. Mistakes are not permanent labels. They are teachers. Carrying them with compassion transforms them from weights into lessons. Forgiveness does not erase the past. It frees the present. She turns off the lamp, climbs into bed, and feels the softness of the sheets around her. The body, long tense from shame, feels slightly more relaxed. She closes her eyes with a sense of relief. Tonight, she has begun the process of unburdening the past. Tomorrow will bring new challenges, but tonight, she rests lighter. In the next chapter, the story will shift toward redefining success. After unburdening shame, she will ask, "What do I want my life to mean?" Success has been measured by titles, numbers, and comparisons. Now, it will be measured by alignment, peace, and truth. The stones have been dropped. The path ahead is clearer. The morning sun glows through thin curtains, casting warm light across the room. She wakes with a calmer heart than she has felt in years. Last night, she let go of part of the shame she carried, and today, something new stirs inside her. She sits with her notebook again, pen in hand, ready to write not about the past, but about the future. The question is simple. What does success mean to me now? For most of her life, success has meant reaching milestones others could measure. A job title, a salary, a home in the right neighborhood, a lifestyle that proved she was moving forward. Each step looked good on the outside, but often felt hollow on the inside. Now, after unburdening shame, she is ready to look at success differently. She wants it to feel real. She begins to write words that are not about money or status. Words like peace, presence, kindness, connection. She writes about being able to rest without guilt. She writes about laughing with friends without checking her phone. She writes about spending less energy on proving and more energy on living. The list grows, and her chest feels lighter as she reads it back. Redefining success does not mean abandoning ambition. It means placing ambition in service of values. It means asking, does this path honor who I am, or does it only look good to others? It means shifting from what do I achieve to how do I live. The difference feels subtle at first, but changes everything. She recalls research she once read. Studies show people who define success by internal values, like growth or relationships, report higher life satisfaction than those who define it by external markers, like income or possessions. Success defined inwardly creates resilience. Success defined outwardly creates constant comparison. She sees this truth in her own life, and she wants the former. She looks around her apartment. The furniture is sleek, the space impressive, yet much of it was chosen to fit an image. The style spoke more to status than comfort. She wonders what it would feel like to choose differently, to choose a space that feels nurturing, not performative, to create a home for rest, not for approval. She remembers a time she painted as a hobby. It was not for money or recognition, it was for joy. The act itself was success because it brought presence and creativity. She has not painted in years, telling herself she was too busy. But now, she wonders if success includes making space for hobbies that hold no metric but joy. She flips through her journal and writes another definition. Success is having time for what nourishes me. This sentence feels like a compass. Nourishment is different from achievement. Nourishment sustains. It fills rather than drains. It allows ambition to exist, but within balance. She underlines the word nourishes and smiles softly. Redefining success also means letting go of comparison. She knows this will not be easy. Social media will still tempt her. Colleagues will still share updates. Family will still hold expectations. But she also knows she has a choice. She can step back, unfollow, or simply remind herself that their path is not hers. Their success does not define her. Her peace does. She thinks of conversations with friends who earn more but look tired, who own more but feel restless. She realizes success is not measured in who has more. Success is measured in who feels aligned, present, and whole. By this measure, she can choose success daily, even in small ways. A walk at sunset, a slow meal, a moment of gratitude. These are successes too. She remembers the phrase, soft life. She once saw trending online. At first, she dismissed it as unrealistic. But now, she sees its meaning differently. A soft life is not about luxury. It is about peace. It is about designing life with gentleness, about choosing balance over a constant grind. Perhaps she has always wanted this, but was too afraid to admit it. Her redefinition grows clearer. Success is not about always climbing. Success is about balance, presence, and values. It is about financial stability, yes, but stability that supports life, not life that supports endless work. It is about creating enough margin to rest, enough space to connect, enough freedom to choose. She imagines her future through this new lens. She sees herself working, but not endlessly. She sees herself saving, but not hoarding. She sees herself giving time to people she loves, pursuing hobbies, and resting often. She sees herself measuring wealth not only in dollars, but in calm mornings, laughter, and peace of mind. This vision feels gentler and far more alive. She closes her eyes and reflects. For years, she chased an image of success given to her by society, family, and peers. Now, she is creating her own image, one aligned with who she is. This is not an overnight transformation, but each reflection, each step, is moving her closer. Success is no longer a destination. It is a daily practice of alignment. Later, she shares some of her thoughts with a close friend. The friend listens and nods, then says, "That sounds like true success to me." The words reassure her. She realizes she is not alone in craving this shift. Many are tired of the old definition. Many want a new one that honors humanity instead of only performance. That night, she sits again at her desk and writes one final line. "My success is mine to define." She underlines it twice. It feels like both a declaration and a promise. She no longer has to carry the weight of definitions that do not fit. She can build one that matches her values. That is her right. That is her power. The lamp glows softly as she closes her notebook. The city hums outside, but inside, the room feels calm. She lies down in bed, the new definition of success resting gently in her mind. She feels both tired and hopeful. Tomorrow will bring new challenges, but tonight she knows her path more clearly. This chapter ends with a truth. Success without alignment feels empty. Success with alignment feels whole. Redefining success is not about abandoning goals. It is about ensuring goals serve values. With this shift, wealth becomes more than numbers. It becomes peace, presence, and meaning. In the next chapter, we will see how this redefinition shapes gratitude. After years of chasing, she will begin to practice noticing what is already here. Gratitude will soften the never enough voice and create space for contentment. The compass has been reset. Next comes learning to rest in enough. The night is quiet and the apartment feels calm. She sits by the window with a small notebook in her lap. On the first page, she writes 3 simple words. "I have enough." The sentence feels fragile, almost unbelievable, yet she repeats it softly under her breath. Each repetition feels like a stone, placed gently on the ground, steadying her. Tonight, she is practicing something new: gratitude. For years, her mind has repeated the opposite message. You are behind. You need more. You are not there yet. The voice of scarcity has been her constant companion. It made her chase endlessly, work endlessly, spend endlessly. But tonight, she wants to answer back. Gratitude is her answer. Gratitude is how she will begin to train her nervous system to see abundance instead of lack. She writes a short list: a safe place to sleep, a body that carries her, people who care for her, food on the table, moments of laughter, lessons learned. The list is not long, but each item matters. Gratitude does not demand perfection. It grows from noticing what already exists. Even the smallest detail, when named, becomes a source of enough. Studies confirm what she feels. Research shows gratitude improves sleep, lowers stress, and increases happiness. People who practice daily gratitude feel more satisfied with their lives, even when external circumstances remain the same. Gratitude does not change the facts. It changes the frame. It shifts focus from what is missing to what is present. This is what she longs for. She remembers childhood moments when joy came easily. Eating a simple meal with family, sharing jokes at the dinner table, running barefoot in the yard. There was no wealth then, no luxury, yet she remembers those nights as some of the happiest. Gratitude came naturally then. Somewhere along the way, she lost it. Tonight, she wants to find it again. She writes another list. The sound of rain last night. The way her friend laughed on the phone. The taste of tea this morning. The comfort of silence. The glow of the sunset. Each detail feels small, but together they build a sense of fullness. She realizes that gratitude does not require grand gestures. It requires paying attention. The voice of scarcity interrupts. This isn't enough. What about the future? What about security? She pauses, breathes, and writes again. I am safe tonight. The words do not silence the fear completely, but they soften it. Gratitude is not about denying fear. It is about balancing it. Tonight, she practices balance, not perfection. She closes her eyes and thinks of people she admires. They are not always the richest or most powerful. Often they are those who carry peace, those who radiate kindness, those who laugh easily. She realizes these qualities grow from gratitude. They grow from noticing what is already good instead of always reaching for what is missing. Later, she walks into the kitchen and pours a glass of water. She drinks slowly, noticing the coolness, the clarity, the ease of access. Billions of people in the world lack safe water, yet she has it within reach. She whispers, "Thank you." The act feels small, but gratitude often hides in the smallest acts. Gratitude also heals comparison. When she focuses on what she has, the urge to measure herself against others weakens. Their vacation does not erase her cozy evening. Their success does not erase her simple joys. Gratitude roots her in her own life. It reminds her that she can feel rich without constant upgrades. She recalls reading that writing 3 things you are grateful for each night can reshape the brain over time. Neural pathways shift, making gratitude more natural. She likes the idea that practice can change her biology. Tonight is her first practice. Tomorrow, she will continue. Slowly, her brain will learn to rest in enough. She sits again at the window. Outside the city hums quietly. She watches people pass on the sidewalk, each carrying their own burdens and blessings. She wonders how many of them feel the same restlessness she once felt. She hopes they too will find gratitude, will find a way to whisper, "I have enough," even on heavy nights. Gratitude also softens perfectionism. For years, she measured herself by what she had not done. The undone tasks overshadowed the completed ones. Gratitude reverses this. It says, "Look at what you did today. Look at what you already hold." This shift brings kindness to the self. Without it, success feels like failure. With it, even small progress feels whole. She writes again in her notebook, "Today, I worked hard. Today, I ate a good meal. Today, I laughed. Today, I am safe." For sentences. For reminders that today held enough. She feels her body relax as she reads them. She realizes gratitude is not only mental, it is physical. Her breath deepens, her heart slows, her muscles soften. The night grows later. She prepares for bed, turning off lights one by one. In the dark, she whispers again, "I have enough." The phrase feels less foreign now. It feels like a gentle blanket, wrapping her in calm. She knows tomorrow the old voice may return, but tonight she has an answer. Gratitude is her shield. Gratitude is her anchor. As she lies in bed, she thinks about what true wealth means. Wealth is not the endless chase for more. Wealth is the ability to feel safe, to feel present, to feel grateful. Wealth is measured in nights of calm sleep, in mornings of laughter, in relationships that last. This redefinition comforts her. It feels closer to truth than anything she once believed. Her eyes grow heavy, sleep feels near. She knows gratitude will not erase all struggles. Bills will still come. Work will still demand effort. But gratitude gives her a tool to face them with less fear. Gratitude reminds her she is not empty, but already full in many ways. This truth quiets her mind. The chapter ends with her drifting into rest, the notebook still open on the table. On its page, the words, "I have enough glow" softly in the lamplight. For the first time in years, she believes them, even if only for tonight. That belief is enough to bring peace. In the next chapter, she will carry this gratitude into the future. She will begin to build a gentle roadmap, a way of living that sustains peace instead of stealing it. Gratitude has shown her that she already holds much. Now, she will design her life to protect it. The practice of enough will grow into the practice of direction. The morning begins slowly. She wakes without the usual rush, stretching in bed before moving to the kitchen. A pot of tea warms on the stove, filling the apartment with gentle steam. The world outside is busy, but she moves at her own pace. For the first time in a long time, she feels less like she is chasing life and more like she is walking alongside it. She sits again with her notebook, the same one that holds her past reflections. On a fresh page, she writes the words, "How do I want to live going forward?" This question feels different from old questions. It is not about what to achieve or what to prove. It is about how to live, how to protect peace, how to build a life that matches her values. She begins by listing what matters most. Now, time for rest, connection with family and friends, work that feels meaningful, not only profitable, simple joys like cooking, walking, and creating. She circles each item, seeing them clearly. These are not dreams for later, these are directions for today. They form the gentle road ahead. Her mind drifts to the past pattern of chasing, always moving faster, always adding more, always measuring worth by achievement. That road led to exhaustion, shame, and emptiness. She does not want to return there. The gentle road is different. It is slower, lighter, and truer. It asks not, "How much can I carry?" but what do I choose to carry? She writes another line, "Boundaries are part of wealth." She has learned that saying no is not failure. Saying no is what protects her energy for what matters. She imagines leaving the office on time, turning off her phone at night, and giving her presence fully to loved ones. Each boundary is not a loss, but a gain. It is how the gentle road stays clear. Later in the day, she takes a short walk during her lunch break. The sky is blue, clouds drifting slowly above. She notices the sound of leaves in the wind, the chatter of children nearby, the simple rhythm of footsteps. She realizes how rich these moments feel. They cost nothing, yet they bring more satisfaction than many purchases ever did. The gentle road is built on moments like this. She remembers reading that reducing unnecessary stress increases happiness more than increasing income. The thought makes sense now. Stress steals sleep, connection, and health. Reducing stress makes space for joy. For her, the gentle road will not mean constant hustle. It will mean choosing peace, even if it means earning slightly less or saying no to extra tasks. In the evening, she cooks dinner slowly, chopping vegetables with care. Music plays softly in the background. She sets the table for herself, lighting a small candle. She eats without rushing, savoring the flavors, feeling present. This is what it means to live by design instead of default. Small rituals become wealth when they bring calm and joy. The gentle road is not only about slowing down, it is about clarity. It means checking in regularly, asking, "Does this align with my values? Does this bring peace?" If the answer is no, she can adjust. If the answer is yes, she can continue. This rhythm prevents drifting back into old patterns. Awareness is her new compass. She imagines her future years from now. A life where she works with balance, spends with intention, rests without guilt, and loves without distraction. She sees herself looking back, grateful not only for the big milestones, but for the quiet choices that shaped her days. She realizes the gentle road does not need to be extraordinary. Its gift is its steadiness. That night, she journals again. She writes a small roadmap. Leave work at a healthy hour, take daily walks, practice gratitude, spend time with loved ones, forgive herself often. She knows life will bring challenges, but with this roadmap, she feels prepared. Challenges may arrive, but peace can remain if she continues to walk gently. The city outside glows with evening lights. She looks out the window and feels a sense of calm. The world is still fast, still loud, still demanding. But inside her apartment, inside her heart, the pace is slower. The gentle road is hers to walk, no matter how others move. This knowledge is empowering. As she prepares for bed, she reflects on how far she has come, from sleepless nights of worry to heavy crowns of success. to chasing mirages, to facing shame, and now to defining her own gentle way. Each step has been difficult, but each has brought her closer to peace. She feels gratitude for the journey itself. She lies in bed and whispers, "I can choose how I live." The words feel solid, not fragile. They are the truth she will carry forward. The gentle road is not about reaching a final destination. It is about walking each day with values, presence, and rest. That is enough. That is wealth. The chapter closes here, with her resting peacefully, notebook by her side, and the future looking calmer than the past. She knows the journey is not over, but the path is clearer. Tomorrow will bring its own steps, but tonight she rests knowing she has chosen the gentle road ahead. In the next and final chapter, we will see what it feels like to wake to a new dawn. A life where peace and success are no longer at odds. A life where rest and worth coexist. The gentle road has been found. Now comes the quiet dawn of living it. The first light of morning slips softly through the curtains. The air is still, carrying the hush that comes before the city wakes. She stirs slowly, not jolted by an alarm, but guided by the natural rhythm of rest. For the first time in years, she rises without dread. The weight on her chest has eased. Today feels different. Today feels lighter. She steps into the kitchen and makes tea, listening to the gentle boil of the kettle. Steam rises, curling in the cool air. She sits by the window, wrapping her hands around the warm cup. The world outside begins to glow. Cars are few, footsteps rare, but the light grows steadily. She watches in silence, feeling both grounded and hopeful. This is her quiet dawn. It is not about grand changes or dramatic milestones. It is about small, steady shifts that make life feel gentler. It is about realizing that success is not only about money, status, or recognition. Success is about waking with peace, resting with ease, and moving through the day aligned with values. She reflects on her journey, the nights of sleepless worry, the loneliness hidden behind smiles, the weight of endless pressure, the treadmill of lifestyle inflation, the masks of comparison, the exhaustion of burnout, the mirage of more, the voice of scarcity. Each chapter of her story was heavy, but each was also necessary. They showed her what was missing. They prepared her for this moment. Now she sees how far she has come. She unburdened the shame of her past. She redefined success on her own terms. She practiced gratitude until it felt real. She chose rest as part of her wealth. She built boundaries that protect her peace. She found her true north and began to walk the gentle road. This morning, she wakes in that new life. She takes out her notebook again, flipping through the pages. The earlier entries are filled with fear, self-criticism, and questions. The newer pages hold softer truths words about presence, connection, and gratitude. She smiles at the transformation. The notebook is proof that change is possible. It is a record of how even restless hearts can learn to rest. Outside, the sun rises higher. Golden light spreads across rooftops, windows, and streets. She imagines thousands of people waking now, many already rushing, many already worrying. She feels compassion for them. She knows the pain of believing success will fix everything, only to find emptiness. She hopes that someday they too will find their quiet dawn. She writes one final sentence in her notebook. Wealth is peace of mind. The words are simple, but they hold everything she has learned. Money matters, but without peace, it is fragile. Recognition matters, but without rest, it is shallow. True wealth is the ability to wake up calm, to breathe deeply, to feel safe enough to live gently. Later in the day, she goes for a walk. The city is alive now, bustling and loud, but she carries stillness with her. She does not feel pressured to keep up. She does not feel pulled by comparison. She feels anchored by her values, guided by her true north. She notices flowers blooming along the sidewalk, the laughter of children on their way to school, the small kindnesses of strangers. These details feel like riches. In the evening, she cooks a simple dinner and calls a close friend. They talk and laugh, sharing stories without pretense. She feels present, unmasked, and free. This connection fills her more than any purchase or achievement could. It reminds her again of the truth. Relationships, presence, and peace are the pillars of a successful life. That night, as she prepares for sleep, she feels grateful. Not for the absence of challenges life will always have them, but for the tools she now carries. Gratitude, Boundaries, forgiveness, values, rest. These are her wealth. These are what allow her to sleep deeply and wake peacefully. She lies down, closing her eyes. The quiet dawn has become a quiet night. The cycle feels whole, balanced. She no longer fears the morning. She no longer dreads the day. She knows she is enough, she has enough, and she can rest. This chapter ends here, but her story continues. Each new day will bring choices, and she will keep choosing gently. Each night will bring rest, and she will allow herself to receive it. The dawn has shown her that happiness and success can coexist, not through more, but through enough. And so the quiet dawn lingers, steady and calm. She breathes deeply, drifting into peaceful sleep. Tomorrow will come, and she will meet it not with fear, but with softness. For tonight, she has found what she once thought was missing. She has found peace in her success. She has found her quiet dawn. The night has grown still again. The story has carried you through sleepless worries, heavy crowns, endless treadmills, and the quiet ache of masks. You have walked through the exhaustion of burnout, the mirage of more, and the voice of scarcity that whispers, never enough. And yet, here you are, at the quiet ending, where the weight feels lighter and the heart feels softer. This journey was never about abandoning ambition. It was about finding balance. It was about seeing that success without peace is hollow, and peace without self-compassion is fragile. The chapters showed that happiness is not a finish line, but a daily rhythm. A rhythm built on gratitude, rest, forgiveness, and values that guide you like a compass. You learned that money alone does not silence worry. You saw how comparison steals joy, how masks hide truth, and how burnout robs life of its color. But you also saw that change is possible. A gentle pause, a boundary, a moment of gratitude. These are enough to begin reshaping the story. These small shifts carry great power when repeated with care. True wealth, as the story revealed, is not measured only in accounts or titles. True wealth is measured in calm mornings, safe evenings, and connections that bring warmth. It is measured in the courage to forgive yourself, in the freedom to rest without guilt, and in the joy of saying, I have enough. That is success you can feel, not only display. The characters in this story found that living gently does not mean giving up on goals. It means allowing goals to serve life, not control it. It means asking, does this bring me closer to peace? Does this align with who I am? These questions change the road ahead. They slow the rush, soften the burden, and turn chasing into choosing. You may carry your own memories of money wounds, childhood fears, adult regrets, silent shame. Remember that these do not define you. Mistakes are part of growth, not proof of failure. Each chapter showed how unburdening the past opened space for a kinder present. You too are allowed to forgive, to heal, to rest. Gratitude became a steady thread. Gratitude for shelter, for connection, for the smallest joys, a warm drink, a shared laugh, the quiet of the night. Gratitude turns never enough into this is enough. It calms the nervous system and teaches the mind to rest in abundance. With practice, gratitude transforms fear into peace. Values became another guide. Success defined by numbers is fragile. Success defined by values is steady. When you know your true north, whether it is kindness, family, creativity, or health, you have direction that no setback can erase. Values give meaning to each step, even in uncertain times. The gentle road ahead is not about perfection. It is about intention, setting boundaries with work, choosing time over endless upgrades, saying no when peace is at risk, saying yes to connection, to rest, to presence. These choices are how success and happiness meet in the middle. These choices are how life becomes sustainable. And so we return to the quiet dawn. The dawn where the weight has eased, the mask has slipped, and the body finally rests. The dawn where you wake not to chase, but to live. This is the gift of the journey, knowing that you are allowed to define wealth as peace, success as balance, and progress as kindness toward yourself. Tonight, as you lie here, you have walked this journey in your mind. You have felt the heaviness of striving and the relief of release. You have seen how success without rest drains and how gratitude restores. You have remembered that enough is not a number, but a truth you can choose. So breathe slowly now. Let your shoulders loosen. Let your eyes grow heavy. You do not have to prove anything tonight. You do not have to solve everything tonight. You have done enough, and you are enough. The gentle road is already beneath your feet. All you must do is walk it one quiet step at a time. Tonight, maybe you can stop proving and simply rest, because you are still learning, still worthy, and tomorrow, your story with money will keep unfolding, and you, dear listener, are allowed to write it gently.